Hello, you've heard me refer to TEE writing model and also something I call the upside down triangle diagram. So today, or right now, I'm going to do a mini lesson on how you will use those graphic organizers, create them, and then use them to write your essay and or paragraph, okay? So the overall idea here is called the upside down triangle diagram. I will have a file that is uploaded and put into the Google, into the Canvas class so that you can literally just see the Google Doc or the Word document. But I also would like to show you how we do it. So as if this area right here was just a piece of paper, this diagram takes, excuse me, up the entire piece of paper. Okay, so we start with an upside down triangle, then we have a 1, 2, 3, and then we have a right side up triangle. This stands for your introduction. So if you were thinking of writing an essay, a standard essay has about 5 paragraphs. The 1, 2, 3 are the body paragraphs, which you can see they're in the middle, like kind of in a sandwich here. And you can add 1, 2, 3, maybe you need 10 here. Okay, so I've written a lot of papers, especially for my master's degree, where I used this outline, but I had to tailor it for my needs. So I may have needed more body paragraphs. So for the standard 5-paragraph essay, this is what we'll do. But you can always alter this. Maybe you only need 1 body paragraph and you're just going to have a 3-paragraph essay. Maybe you need to make like 5 or 6 different body paragraphs. Okay, so this is really a nice tool that you can alter for yourself. So your 1, 2, and 3 stand for body paragraphs. And then your last triangle stands for your conclusion. The reason why I love this outline is because this really gives me an image to look at. So I can see that this triangle here starts really broad. Okay, and the beginning of my introduction needs to start broad. And sometimes we call this getting an attention getter or having a hook. Okay, I also like to just say a broad point. Just start broad, give a point that's going to now introduce maybe whatever it is that you're going to be talking about, and then you'll kind of be able to narrow it down and get more specific as we go on. So as you see, the triangle gets more narrow, and as we narrow down our ideas, we do get more specific. So your middle part here is called your narrowing points, and this is where you are introducing your topic. You may, if it's a literary analysis, you may need to be introducing the text you're going to be talking about. This may be, if it's a personal narrative, this is where you give your background information so people can kind of learn about you before they read this paper and maybe get a more of an understanding. And then your last part of your introduction is called the thesis. And this is a thesis statement, so it's just 1 sentence, but it can be pretty long. And your thesis is whatever you're going to have as a claim. What am I proving in my paper? Okay, and we're going to get more specific on theses a little later, but this is just kind of a review, a kind of overall, what are we doing here? Okay, in my body paragraphs, I use the TEE format. And I'm not going to write it a million times. I'm going to write it once, but you just literally repeat it here, and as many body paragraphs as you need, you just keep repeating it. So the paragraph format is called TEE. And what it stands for is a topic sentence, an example, and an explanation. Your example is usually going to be a quote, and your explanation is usually going to be your stories, your opinions, your thoughts. And that's kind of your analysis as well. So your topic sentence is just one sentence, your quote is 1 to 2, and your explanation is where you really get the meat of the paragraph, and it's about 5 to 7 sentences. And if you're really going in, it's going to be even more, maybe closer to 10, okay? So your overall body paragraph should be anywhere from 9 to like 12 sentences. If you're really explaining everything using quotes, you should be somewhere around at least 10 sentences, okay? All right, so you would repeat it over and over, and then we have our conclusion. You can tell that your conclusion starts really narrow. And if you look back up to the top, you're like, well, where was I just narrow? Oh, I was narrow at the thesis. So in my conclusion, I restate my thesis. And you probably heard kind of like, well, wrap it up, make it really nice, tie everything back together in your conclusion. So you're going to narrow your thoughts. I actually like to call it narrowing thoughts, which is where I get to then wrap up everything here that I'm working with. Okay. Kind of maybe reiterate some of my main points I talked about up here in my paper. Okay, I'm narrowing my thoughts, kind of touching up on all my issues that I've brought up in my paper. And then my last thing I do is end with a broad point. Okay, and so your broad point is like the main point of the paper. When you get to the end of my paper, what were you supposed to learn? What was I supposed to take away? And my broad point should really be able to leave my reader knowing what is this that they were supposed to learn today from reading my essay. Okay, so again, this is the upside down triangle diagram. I will have a second video that zooms in on just our TEE format, which is what we'll be using pretty much every day, because you'll always write a paragraph explanation about something, but you're not always going to write an essay. The essay is kind of your final project or your final make that kind of is your overall, like, this is what I learned, this is what I'm taking away, and this is what I think, okay? This upside down triangle diagram can work for any type of paper. You just have to alter it for you. Good luck and happy writing.